My thanks to A Pimpin' Ain't Easy marketingconference.com for their continued support and partnership with the RJ Young Show. Okay. So, I want to talk a little bit about the 8-game schedule that is proposed by the Big Ten because, well, check it. Dan Patrick came out here yesterday and did a sports talk radio move. And I recognize this is a sports talk radio move because I'm a sports talk radio host, which is to put out a one-sourced idea that gets the juices flowing. Because nothing turns college football, not unlike European soccer, like a good rumor. And the rumor that he put out there is that the Big Ten is trying to play football by October 10th. Even as everybody else that's connected with the Big Ten is saying stuff like, he must be high. Even as Donald Trump seems to be more enthusiastic about getting the Big Ten to play football than anybody else to play football because he got to win Ohio, he got to win Illinois, he got to win Michigan, he got to win Pennsylvania. So the longer that they go without playing football, the worse it is for his re-election campaign. We know that to be true because that man ain't said word one to the Pac-12 and hadn't said word one to the MAC. He just don't care about them. He only cares about the Big Ten. Okay. So I'm looking at how this thing could go down. And Scott Docterman put out what I thought was an interesting thought experiment in which he put together a schedule that begins on October 17th, not October 10th, and runs through December 5th. That would be an 8-game season for the Big Ten, where all parties concerned play ball, and you get a Big East champ versus a Big Ten West champ, I should say Big Ten East versus Big Ten West champ, in a conference championship game, and ideally your winner gets selected for the college football playoff, although that's no guarantee because as the joke is going all year, we've had college football playoffs without Big Ten and Pac-12 representatives before. I don't see why this year needs to be so different. That said, let's take a look at the schedule as he laid it out. So he's got, for Ohio State, Rutgers to start the year, at Michigan State, at Maryland, Nebraska, Indiana, at Penn State, at Illinois, Michigan to finish. That's a sexy Ohio State schedule that he put out there, man. That's easy as hell. Okay. What's Michigan got other than that game against Ohio State at the end? Wisconsin at home, Maryland at home, at Michigan State, at Minnesota, Penn State, at Rutgers, Indiana, Ohio State. Man, Michigan getting the shaft on this schedule. You got to play Wisconsin, Mike Loxley's revenge. Then you got to take on a Mel Tucker team and a Scotty Hazelton team that are looking to take your head. You got to row the boat, and then you got to take on James Franklin. Like, they could catch 3 losses in there. Wisconsin starts, of course, at Michigan. Then they get Indiana, Minnesota, Northwestern, at Northwestern, Illinois, at Purdue, Nebraska. What's Nebraska got? He got Illinois traveling to Nebraska, at Northwestern, Penn State at home, at Ohio State, Purdue at home, at Iowa, at Wisconsin, Minnesota. I'm telling you, man, of the teams that we expect to be good, Ohio State's getting a sweetheart run here, which I think is the way that many people would like to see it drawn up because you take a look at the SEC's conference-only schedule, you see that Alabama and Georgia got sweetheart runs too. Meanwhile, Arkansas going banging the table, talking about, what the hell is this? You came up with the toughest schedule in the history of college football and gave it to the team that won 2 games last year and caught an L to North Texas and San Jose State for a first-year head coach in Sam Pittman. That's just raw. That's so rude. But then I look at Rutgers, and they're fun. At Ohio State, Illinois, Indiana, at Purdue, at Michigan, at Maryland, Michigan at home, at Michigan State, then you finish Penn State. Like, I'm looking at Rutgers' schedule. Penn State, at Michigan State, Michigan, Purdue, Ohio State. You can catch an L there. And let's not forget, Illinois beat Wisconsin last year. Remember that? I remember that. I'm never going to let Wisconsin defeat that. Like, I'm never going to let them not remember. I'm going to bring it up every time I see a Badger fan. Remember when Lovie Smith handed y'all head in a year where y'all was looking to go undefeated? Who was Illinois? Like, Illinois was so trash last year that at the end of the season, when Lovie Smith finally won that 6th game, he got in front of the microphone and said, "We're going bowling." Like, that's some sort of achievement. There are 41 bowl games. 41. That means there are 82 teams out of 129 teams that get to play in bowl games. And we got so many bowl games that you could be 5-7 and still make a bowl. That's who Wisconsin lost to. Don't let anybody ever tell you differently. Okay? Meanwhile, Northwestern still gets to actually live off the largesse of the Big Ten. I'm no fan of Northwestern. One, Northwestern journalist snobs get on my damn nerves. I'm a journalist by trade. I came up as a beat writer. I write for a living. I just signed another book deal. I'll tell y'all about it when it's official. I write stuff. I report stuff. I talk to people about stuff and I write it down. But I have never met such a pretentious bunch of jerks than the folks that graduate from Northwestern. Every single damn journalist I know leads with, I went to Northwestern or I went to Missouri. I don't give a damn. If you have a pen and a pad, you can be a journalist. Somehow, Northwestern got the franchise on pretentiousness and journalists. Meanwhile, they ain't added a damn thing to the Big Ten since beating Ohio State in 2009. And even then, you can't look at Northwestern and see some sort of tremendous legacy. They not that good. It's a lily white school in Illinois that gets beat down by Ohio State routinely. That's who Northwestern is. That said, I do enjoy watching them get beat down. So who they got? They got at Purdue. They got Nebraska, at Iowa, Wisconsin, at Michigan State, Maryland, at Minnesota, Illinois. Okay, so you get to dodge Ohio State. You get to dodge Michigan. You get to dodge Penn State. Man, Northwestern ought to go 6-2 with that schedule. Easy. Northwestern ought to be the first people talking about let's go play football. But you know what? They've been quiet. Because Northwestern doesn't want the smoke. Because when it actually comes to going and winning stuff, all they look at is these journalism awards. I don't give a good damn. Don't give a good damn. I really don't. All right. Let's go to the next segment. All right, so I got teams that are likely to go undefeated. Let me see. How we doing for time right quick? Cool, we about to halfway mark. All right. So I really got like 6 teams that could go undefeated. Yeah, 6 teams. So Alabama, they got ampersand U on October 3rd. They got UGA, which now feels more like a W than an L, on October 17th. They're at LSU on Masters Weekend on November 14th, which is wild. And then they get Auburn in the Iron Bowl. I get that not everybody is in on the Mac Jones experiment, but I am in on the Mac Jones experiment because I think the Mac Jones experiment works. Because I took a look at his film for the last 3 games, talking like Western Illinois or Western Carolina. Can't remember it. It's directional, whatever. But he was good in that, 10 to 12, 275. And then there's the Iron Bowl, which he threw for over 300, 2 pick sixes, but one of those wasn't his fault. And then you get Michigan, which had a really great defense that he carved up. He returns Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle, who are 2 of the 3 best wide receivers in football now, right? Ain't no Jamar Chase anymore. And you got Najee Harris in the backfield, along with Trey Sanders on the come up, Alex Leatherwood on your offensive line, and then your defense is going to be able to hold its own. Dylan Moses, Patrick Surtain Jr., they all want to smoke. I can get here for Bama.